Hello, welcome back to Algebra. In the last episode, we started graphing, and I showed you the Cartesian coordinate plane, or the axis you're going to be graphing on, and we talked about how we could easily graph points on our graph by knowing our x's and our y values. Well, now we're going to start graphing lines, and to start graphing lines, we're going to do it the old-fashioned way you might have done it in a class before algebra, with what's called the grid. Okay? So what you're going to do is they're going to give you some sort of equation that you're going to have to graph as a line on the graph here. And what you're going to do is you're going to start off by making this little grid here. You're going to have an x and a y, and then you're going to put -1, 0, and 1 in there. Okay? Now, the reason you're doing that is what you're going to do is you're going to put -1 into the equation. You're going to plug it in like we've been doing before when we evaluate. We're going to find out what the y value is when this is -1, and then we'll put it here. And then we'll do the same thing for 0 and the same thing for 1. And then we'll have 3 points that we can graph on our graph, and we can draw a line then. So that's how we're going to start off graphing, nice and simple. Okay? So what we've got here, we've got y equals 2x minus 1. That's our equation. And we're going to start by putting -1 in for x. So -1 times 2 is -2, minus 1 is -3. We put 0 in, we get 0 minus 1, that's -1. And then we've got 2 minus 1, which is 1. So now we've got 3 points that we can graph. We've got -1, -3, 0, -1, and 1, 1. So let's put those in there real quick. We've got -1, -3, that's right here. 0, -1, which is right there. And 1, 1, which is right there. And we can graph that. Hold on, I'm going to graph it real quick. And we've got our line, just like we wanted to, right? We wanted to graph a line out of this. Let's do one more example. Here I've got another problem. We've got y equals -x plus 3. Sorry, my marker was being a little meh. It didn't look super great. But we're going to do the same thing. We're going to use -1, 0, and 1 as our points, and we're going to plug and chug and figure out what our y values are. So if we put -1 in here, negative times -1 is 1, plus 3 is 4. 0 plus 3 is 3. And then 1, -1 plus 3 is 2. So now we've got our 3 points, -1, 4, which is going to be right there, 0, 3, and 1, 2. I'll graph that real quick. Off screen. And there we have it, yet another line. So anytime you're asked to graph, this is a definite fallback way for you to make sure that you at least get the correct line from your equation. You can always use this method. It works for every equation. As long as you pick 3 values of x, you can always get a line out of it. So this is the nice simple way of graphing in algebra. We are going to do a more complex way, which I think you should know how to do, but this can always be your fallback. Okay, this always works. Thanks so much for watching. I hope this was informative to you. Next time, we'll start working on a more complex way of graphing without using our chart. And it'll help you understand a little bit more why we're making lines out of this. I'll see you later. Happy mathing.